Thank you. Coming up next, we have our headliner, Beth Hartley. I first met Beth Hartley on Zoom just after we got locked down, so about April of 2020. We are both part of a online writing group called Write Club, which meets on a Monday morning, and we have a catch-up session on a Friday afternoon. And you know, when you just see someone and you think, we're going to be friends. So one of the first things I had to do once we actually were allowed out into the real world was meet up with Beth, and she's just as nice person in real flesh and blood as she is on the screen. Beth Hartley, poet of people and place, the transient and the eternal, maker, homemaker, faith, words, work, and dinner. Itchy preacher, never found out what the itchy bit is. We'll come back to that later. Always a mama, part of the Fenspeak team, running and hosting Ely's main poetry night. Her first collection, What If Stars, is now out on Allographic Press. And look, Write Club, there she is. There we are. There, right.
Representing tonight, everybody.
Yeah. Beth Hartley.
Thank you, everybody. I'm just going to move my very large face. There we go. Oh, there you all are again. That's good. I am here. Hands curled around my cup, self curled around inside a blanket, looking at the morning and the rain in the stillness only early brings. I have long retreated when the day is young, for this is a time for dreaming, my mind sending out beams of light, catching up with small things, every second waited, knowing it might be the last, before the day actually breaks and footsteps change the peace of this, before someone turns on a station I didn't choose, or asks questions I cannot answer. I just want this. Cardamom scented moment. A single drop of daylight, only for me. My curved hands and curved self, drawing strength from dawning. You've got a lot of books then. And there's a rustling. As every page stands to attention, is that an observation or a subtle accusation? And the look in their eyes, is it hunger or confusion? But the books are listening. Where you have learned to put away the tacit judgment that has grown like weeds in 7 years, your yes, a flattened confession, your childhood delights turned to rubble, they've only come to collect clothes. You're only polite because it's raining. And this underlines everything you fear at most. Exchange over. You close the door and retreat. In the shelves, the susurration heightens. Gardening and home care take the first shots. Prune those thoughts, clean them away. Art and fashion follow with, who does she think she is anyway? But this war is not just words. From their high vantage, the recipe books are hurling plates and dropping flower bombs, while poetry and playwrights shout direction from the edges, verbs flying, cutting to the bone. Fiction fires the arrows, casts the Patronus, divides your attacker with a subtle knife. A cavalry rides out on skeletal steeds, skirting the battle with their heads held high. The ring of swords as warrior and dragon both go forth. And the teddy bears of legend lead favourites to the fray. And you You have climbed the stairs, been welcomed by the open arms of theology and craft as they wrap you in soft blankets of liturgy and wool. You turn away to dream while the battle rages on. The stories and the real lives pour storms from the first floor, rattling their spears of experience and restoration. You are rising, but sense a gentle shift. Some call it clutter, but you call it self-defense, preparation, vaccination against the bitter stings of life. You've always known salvation can come from books. Got a lot of books then? Not nearly. Or maybe just enough. From the collection again, and it's called Laura from Memory. I hear you everywhere I go, but especially in the call of geese, scanning across a grey morning sky. The year is turning without you. This is simply harder than I ever imagined. Some days barren, my eyes dry from everything that's happened since you stopped. All the tears cried, and I am wrung out, hung out, dried and cracked. You are nowhere, except the name of every bird he taught us and the bloom of every tulip, the way that you said sandwich, and the stories of the war. I will wear you closer soon. What shone on you will see the light of day on me. I have noticed you become an encompassing warmth when I didn't know I was cold. And in the heat, I understand. You loved me, fierce and true. Enough that what is gone cold gets relit, and I can move once more. In every calendar I've seen, every card I didn't send, every time I couldn't call, you have been around, proving that 96 is just a number and death might not mean anything, unless you count the birthday that I didn't just write in. To close, these final three are all from the collection as well. We are between August and February, therefore my heart is laid open. This is called Hostile Heart. My hostile heart feels the tightness of four walls and my chest. Christmas from an overhot hallway, but no one saying, "Welcome home." Fighting the darkness with cookies on Sinterklaas and hospitality in threes. Giving away what it cannot afford in hopes of blessing broken and battered where others will not go. And the unknowing will never know. My hostile heart beats left wing, socially housed, NHS healed blood with every beat. Knowing its existence is held tenuous, untrusting, grudging by two words they want to erase, that are the safety in which I sleep and the walls I kiss with every morning breath. Lifetime tenancy. My hostile heart runs laundry through the night, drives the car and speaks sharply to the staff nurse, because not everyone can do what you think, and there's about to be one more. Because family is made in early morning walks and late night pain relief. Because 6 months opened something I hope will never heal. My hostile heart walks, praying every footstep, come home, to everyone waiting, every head on every temporary bed, every soul on street and served sofa, until the world wakes up. My hostile heart lies open, lies awake from August until February, the cycle running hot with shame and cold with despair, but it pulses daily, pushing me through complacency and into a different struggle, so that everyone comes home. Thank you. Always and everywhere, housing first. If you don't know about housing first, I really suggest that you look it up. If you search the hashtag housing first, you'll find out why housing first is so important. You'll find out that it works, it's financially viable, it stops people cycling back. All we needed was a house. We had no home, we had all the stuff to put in it and nowhere for it to go. A seasonal piece now. Somebody's already alluded, and we've walked in some autumn and spooky Halloweeny places. But really, this is about walking to work. It's called Autumn Lover. I felt you come in. You nipped my face as I turned the corner, touched my skin as I sat to wait. You bang and crash, blowing it all to pieces, speed drying my laundry and chasing it up the street. 3 sheets to the wind. The drunken reveller of these, the trees scarlet and gold and nutkin brown, blustering in, scattering the children in screaming, laughing wildness. A giant come to play, tousling hair and chapping fingers, rolling conkers in the gutter, making berries blush and flowers hide their pretty faces from your gaze. In all your splendor, though, I search for you. Your welcome blaze before the falling dark and blanket cold, your loving touch of colour and softening gaze has me hooked on this sensuous season. A yearly fix of glorious extremes. You will leave me for another, this I know. But let me live a little in your warmth, before the cold claims me, and you steal away into the chill. Thank you, Fire and Dust. You've been amazing and mind-bendingly international. My closing poem this evening is one that I've been closing a lot of sets with during lockdown, because we're still all so very far apart, whether we'd like to be or not. My closing poem tonight is called Emergency Contact. You can hold my hand if you like. Sometimes I leave it there in case this minute is too much to bear alone. In case you need to know that something is solid when everything shakes. In case of emergency. In case you need something to hold on to. Maybe in case I do. But I wondered if you knew. So, in case the weight of living is more than one can carry. In case today's grief needs a friend. In case companions are scarce. In case you're waiting for a sign. This is it. In case of emergency, please break this barrier where touch has become something we don't do, and our skins have been left hungry, a state of sensual deprivation as prevalent as safety notices, but nowhere near as well lit. So, break ranks, break the rules, break habit, break the silence. In case of emergency, please break glass. Thank you. Absolutely, Ray. Not a problem. Are you good?
Cheers. That's great. Thank you.
All right, darling. Thank you. No worries at all. Yeah, I'll if you've got questions for me about if you want to buy books, there are lots of options. Please have a look for the information, because I am shipping everywhere, but because of the because turns out we planned and we planned and we planned. Turns out, what if Star's bit of a chunky boy, so has to have lots of different shipping rates, but all the information is on there if you're not in the UK or Europe particularly and you want to order it. You can do that. You just need to read the bit from Royal Mail about which bit you fit in. I'd be delighted to hear from you. I will make sure that I put my link tree in the chat. Thank you for being a beautiful worldwide audience. Thank you, Anne, for
Thank you very much, Beth. That was a great set, beautifully delivered.